Get ready for it. Yeah, this is it. Go! Go!
Afternoon. Nice humid afternoon here in Pretoria. How are you, B1?
Yeah, hi V2. Yeah, good. Just sweating. We've had a bit of electric storm action here in the last day or so. So it's really humid, but quite nice because it's cooled down a bit at least.
Yeah, it sort of did cool down, but it seems seemingly warmed up a little bit now with humidity. So we just got back from a short loosener. It was meant to be, I think, a recovery run, but it turned into recovery come speed session. But I think we probably needed it just to loosen the body up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it bodes well, Kev, that we could actually do that the day after or 2 days after a marathon. But yeah, we thought we might just fill you in on our first altitude marathon, which we completed on Saturday. Tell us a bit about it, Kev.
Yeah, no, it was a last minute spur of the moment decision. And the guys we're staying with said, you know, instead of doing your long run, 3.5 hours, why don't you just look for an event? And must say there's a plethora of races available in South Africa, seemingly, at this time of year, unlike back home in Oz. So it was good. We locked into Pretoria North Marathon, and he'll tell us about the start and getting there, and a little bit about the marathon itself.
Yeah, it had a bit of a stressful start on. Not too stressful because we weren't too focused on times, etc. But it was a super early start. It's hot here, so the marathon started at 5:30. GPS gave us the wrong direction, and so landed up adding a bit of time for that. And then, yeah, it was a big marathon. There were 3,000 cars all trying to jam into parking at 5 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, we made it to the start line with 5 minutes to spare, which is not your usual preparation, but it's a pretty sort of low-key start anyway. We weren't even sure when the gun went off, even though there's so many people. So yeah, it was different, but quite a nice low-key way to actually start a marathon without the normal stress that's involved, I think.
I've just realised probably why there wasn't a gun start is because gunshot in South Africa has a slightly different connotation. So it's probably why they don't use a gun. People start pulling out their own guns and cutting loose there.
Yeah, I didn't think of that anyhow. I actually didn't see anyone running with a gun at least, Kit.
No, we have seen numerous people walking around with guns though, just on their hips. It's a different world here. But the run itself was interesting. We certainly try to do it as a slower one, running to sort of goal pace of about 5:45 to 5:15 or so. 5:45 to 6:15.
Yeah.
So roughly trying to average out at about 6-minute Ks, and knowing, I suppose, that we'd probably slow a little bit towards the end and perhaps do a little bit more walking. The strategy as well was to run for 30 minutes and then to have a short minute walk, which sort of more or less coincided with the watering holes or the tables. So we pretty much stuck to that strategy, which seemed to work quite well.
Yeah, no, I think so. And I enjoyed it. I mean, there were enough people, there were actually a lot of people in the marathon. So, you know, there was always someone you could just sort of tag onto for a bit of pace setting, and amazing support along the way, actually. I mean, it's just a local marathon, but lots of people sort of setting up outside their houses. And marathons in South Africa are very much sort of athletic club events. So all the athletic clubs sort of set up their tents along the way with refreshments. So just, yeah, a nice vibe, but a lot of support, good banter with fellow runners. So yeah, it was, I really enjoyed it.
Definitely, it was nice, and you certainly got a feeling of that most were in it for training towards Comrades. The Comrades shirts and caps and gear were aplenty, and just spoke to 1 or 2 runners who were certainly preparing for Comrades. So lots of people doing their qualifiers at this time of the year, albeit there's still a few opportunities to get some more of those qualifiers in.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think for us, even though we were doing slow pace, it was still a tough marathon. They always are. So we got to the end. It was a real grind and starting to get really hot. So I think the combination of, there were actually a few hills as well. So we got a bit of elevation. It got hot at the end, and we're obviously running at altitude. So all of those things combined, I think it was a pretty good training session we got in there, and hopefully it'll hold us in good stead for our marathon, which is coming up in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, I had some doubts that I'd sort of get through it, to be honest, both from a perspective of not having run as long as that for a while, and then we came off last week's 3-hour session, which was quite hectic with elevation, etc. So yeah, I sort of had some doubts and also some injury doubts, usual Achilles problem. But I wanted to share a quick anecdote because it might help others. One was I read something that said, and I probably don't need to tell you this, but I read something that said, make sure you get the very best shoes for Comrades. So I don't know that these are the very best, but they're sort of up there, and they're the New Balance 1080s. And I did something very stupid by adding an additional gel insert in the heel, which I picked up here locally and thought, oh, that sounds like a good idea, and just popped them in the day before the marathon. But luckily for me, that's in there. Luckily for me, that seemed to work quite well and just seemed to give me a little bit of additional, I don't know, bounce and protection. But yeah, a good shoe for those who are looking to do long distance running. I know, Hill, you used your Hoka Bondis? Cliftons, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Kev. Kev seems to have, with a few add-ins there, have found his Comrade shoe, which is good. I'm pretty happy with the Cliftons actually. I have not running them before, but I've now done a few long runs. They could be my Comrade shoe, or possibly try that one as well. But yeah, I think, I mean, the other thing is we're really using these runs to test out a range of things. So we've sort of got onto the 32 GI, which is a South African brand, but they're global. I mean, I know you can get them in Australia. All of their sort of energy gel products, their recovery drink, we use that, and they also make a little anti-cramp gel. So we tried all of those things, and they've all seemed to work quite well. So yeah, starting to get those sort of things locked away now, which I think it will be good. Yep.
Yeah, and hydration wise, I think we paid a fair bit of attention to that. We're pretty well hydrated going in. Probably a few little mistakes along the way where you partake in other things that are available at the drink stations. In my case, that was an array of stuff, ranging from a drink called Isotonic Game, through to creaming soda or cream soda, through to flat Coke, jacket potatoes, a banana, etc. So yeah, I mean, probably need to be a little bit careful on that, but stomach seemed to be able to take it.
Yes, and then the all-important, a few beers a few hours later to celebrate.
Luckily, we didn't go too big with that and did our rehydration and that sort of stuff first. But we did enjoy a couple of cheeky beers in the afternoon, which was very welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, Kev, we're sort of coming to the end of our time here in South Africa. So what's up next?
Yeah, I'll head back on Thursday evening, back in Australia Friday evening, and then I think back into the routine runs and our program, which we've synced up. So can't say I've even looked at the next week's run, but we're hoping it's a bit shorter than 3.5 hours. But yeah, we've got 3 weeks from this past Sunday to our Port Fairy Marathon in Victoria. So it's pretty much a little bit of a sharpen up, and I think speed wise we probably need to do a bit of work on that, and then also taper.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think absolutely sharpen up. I mean, we've got to take off half an hour. We did about 4:10 for that marathon on Saturday. We've got to take half an hour off that, which is a huge chunk. We're aiming for 3:40. I'll just put it out there in case we can't make it. You guys can all give us a hard time, but there's nothing like setting a goal. So we're aiming for 3:40 in Port Fairy, but I think it'll be a pretty tough ask.
Yeah, I mean, we've done better than that than in the past, but I think also as you start running slower, as we've been doing, it just feels harder to pick up the pace. So yeah, I think with the mind on Comrades, you start sort of adjusting your pace accordingly. So it will be a bit different to pick it up again, but hopefully we can get close. not a complete train smasher. We don't do it. It just impacts on our batch that we start in for Comrades. And yeah, as we've explained before, it goes on gun time. So if you start further back, you just take longer to get over the line, and that time counts towards your overall time. So we want to try and get up in the batch starts if we can.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, from our perspective, Kev, this has been a toughish trip, obviously. Here for, as everyone knows, for my dad's funeral, and seeing my mom and sister, quite emotional. But it's been great to spend time with you and keep up our running, which is, I think, helps us through these times anyway. But it'll be nice to get back to Australia as well.
Yeah, and I know Hill's come up with another quote today. No, he hasn't actually. So I think we've been caught short. I'd love to hear someone else's quote, and the challenge to you as viewers is, can you reply with your favorite quote that keeps you going and motivated? So come on, we rely on you for a comment or two. So don't be shy.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea, Kev. So yeah, drop it into the comments on YouTube, and we'll look out for them. But we'll see you in Australia again.
Yeah, and if you're not a subscriber on YouTube, do subscribe to the channel when you get this video. Thanks a lot. Just follow the link to YouTube, and see you back in Oz.
Okay, see you.
See ya.
Here at the Cassia Marathon, and it's just about 5:30. We're about to start. Big crowd. Morning, B1.
Hello. It's a bit of a stressful start to getting here.
Yeah, we got here like within 5 minutes to spare. Quite a big crowd.
This day is gonna be the greatest memory, making history. Let's go. You don't need no luck with that golden touch. Time to light it up. Let's go. Get ready for it. Get ready for it.